to be brilliant in Zoomland. This session is to give you the skills and techniques to become an effective communicator in all aspects of your life with confidence and power. It will specifically assist you in this ever changing world to master presentation skills online, on camera, in virtual meetings, as well as in person. EIY and our guest speaker, Miss Alicia, will address the following questions. The first one is, how do we overcome our fears and anxieties when presenting online and on camera or even in person? What are the 4 P's of effective communication? How do we apply those to being on camera? And finally, some do and don'ts for being on Zoom or other online platforms. Joining us tonight, we warmly welcome Miss Alicia. She is a communication coach, corporate trainer, author, and professional MC based in Monte Carlo, Monaco, with an extensive background in the entertainment and events industry. Her first book, Communicating Through Change, became an overnight international bestseller upon its launch in January this year. She teaches at the International University of Monaco as well as offers private coaching to corporations, associations, international schools, foundations, and individuals. Hello, Miss Alicia. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Anne, and it is my pleasure to be with you today. And I welcome everyone who is listening and watching, and I welcome you all to 24 Karat Magic. Because when you see a magician do their magic tricks, you think, how do they do it? Well, today I'm going to give you some tips and techniques so that when you communicate, people will say, how do you do it?
Yeah, and how is this topic so important, Miss Alicia?
It's so important because, people's biggest fear, one of their biggest fears is to speak in public. And so helping people to overcome that fear and to communicate effectively, it's very, very important. And of course, nowadays on camera, because we are all being forced to be online and on camera when we communicate. So really, really important to have the confidence and the skills to be able to do that effectively and make an impact.
I see. It means that communicating online is really important. And I would like to ask you the first question. How do we overcome our fears and anxieties when presenting online or on camera? Because even though that we present online, but we still have the feeling that someone is watching us. So how can we overcome it, Miss Alicia?
Absolutely, absolutely. So the first thing that you need to know, any communication that you make and you give, it's actually never about you. It is about your audience, and it's how you want them to feel, what you want them to think, and what you want them to do as a result of your communication. So the fabulous thing about that is that the onus is off of you. So if you feel everyone's looking at me and you feel really self-conscious, you don't have to feel that way, because actually it's not about you. It's about the audience, and it's how you want them to feel, what you want them to think, and what you want them to do as a result of your communication. Now, I know that everyone watching today and viewing is very caring. And you want your audience to feel good about themselves. You don't want them to feel uncomfortable. You don't want them to feel, oh my goodness, this person speaking to me is so nervous and so shy. They don't want to be here. And as a result, I don't want to be here. So what you will want to do, and this is all part of the magic, it's starting already. What you want to do is to make your audience feel good about themselves. So even if you do feel nervous and you do feel shy, you're going to think about them. And so you're going to come across as being very interested in them, being very involved with them, and caring about them. So you're going to do lots of things which I'm going to speak to you about later on in this presentation and our conversation. But basically, you're going to think about your audience and not about yourselves. Now, if you do still feel shaky, though, and I understand if you do, one thing that you can do to stop that shakiness and to stop you coming across as being very nervous and not in control is to clench everything very, very tightly. So you clench your hands, you clench your arms, you clench your stomach, you clench your legs, you clench your bottom, tight, 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 and then release. And if you do that several times, clench it tight, 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 and then release, it stops everything from shaking. Now, I've just exaggerated on to show you how to do that, but actually you can do it and nobody knows that you are doing it. Maybe if you are speaking from a podium, if you're speaking in person, or you're speaking from your desk, on camera and online, you can hold on to the desk, you can hold on to the podium, clench everything tight, 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 and then release, and it stops everything from shaking. Nobody knows that you're doing it, which is all part of the magic. Another thing as well is that any presentation that you do, if it's in person or if it's online and on camera, it's always your presentation. It's your communication and it is your conversation. Now, I know that saying that it's a conversation, it's a little bit one-sided because you're speaking, but it is still a conversation. And when you have a conversation, you know what you are going to say. I don't know what you are going to say.
Sure.
So I don't know if you make a mistake. The only way that I know that you've made a mistake is if you highlight it by saying, oh, sorry, or as Boris Johnson in England did recently, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. You don't want to highlight it by saying sorry or excuse me or getting flustered. I wouldn't know that you have made a mistake because I don't know what you are going to say. It's your communication. It is your conversation. You are in control and in command. And you are always in control and in command of your communication. Another reason not to be nervous, because I don't know what you're going to say. I don't know if you've made a mistake unless you highlight it by saying, oh, sorry. If you get a dry mouth, which people often do when they do get nervous, that feeling in your mouth that you can't sort of get the words out because your tongue gets stuck to the roof of your mouth. If you do get a dry mouth, you can very gently, very, very gently bite the inside of your cheek. Very gently, right or left, doesn't matter which. And if you bite it very gently, not to cause pain, not to inflict any suffering, you will find that when you do that, immediately you've got saliva in your mouth.
I
You
see.
don't want to do that because you're afraid of actually inflicting pain and getting blood in your mouth and not saliva. Instead, you can run your tongue around the front of your teeth. Like that. Again, you've got saliva in your mouth. Now, again, I exaggerated that to show you, but you can do it very, very quickly. Nobody knows that you've done it. You've got saliva in your mouth. You can go forward with confidence, knowing that you are in control and in command, and it's not about you. It's about your audience.
Miss Alicia, you just shared with us very useful tips related to how can we overcome nervousness in public speaking or presenting online. In case that we are afraid of presenting online, not just because of those reasons, but because of another reason is we are afraid of the other people may judge us. So, in that case, how can we overcome anxiety before presenting on stage or be presenting online?
Well, I think that it goes back onto actually what I have just said, that
Mm-hmm.
essentially you aren't being judged because
Mm-hmm.
it's not about you. Your audience is interested in what you have to say. They are interested in you if you demonstrate that you are
Mm-hmm.
interested in them. So
Yeah.
they are not there to judge you. They are
Mm,
there to be informed by you, to be
mm,
educated by you, or to be entertained by you. They're not
mm,
going to judge you. They want to be involved with you. They want to be interested in you.
mm,
That's why they're there. And all you have to do is to make them feel that you are interested in them and to
yeah.
make them feel involved and engaged. And again, I'll speak to you about that later on in this conversation that we're having, how you can make them feel more
Mm,
engaged. But they're not there to judge you. And you need to begin any communication by
mm,
changing the words. Instead of saying that you are scared, that you are
mm,
nervous, that you feel that you're going to be judged,
mm,
change the wording to I am excited.
mm,
I see this as an opportunity to share wonderful me with
mm,
my audience. It's an opportunity. So
mm,
change the wording, change it as well from I'm going to be judged to I am having an opportunity to share what I have to say with my audience who are there to learn from me, to be informed by me, and to be entertained by me.
mm. It means that we're gonna shift our mindset to the positive one instead of having the negative thoughts.
Absolutely.
Mm,
Absolutely.
yeah, that is a very interesting point, Miss Alicia. Now let's come to the second question. What are the 4 P's of effective communication?
The 4 P's of public speaking.
Mm,
Okay, let me tell you what they are, and then I will explain each
yeah.
of them to you.
Mm, sure.
The 4 P's of public speaking are pitch, pace, pause, and power.
Mm,
So that is pitch, pace, pause, and power.
yeah.
Now, pitch, when I refer to pitch, I'm not talking about a football pitch. I'm not talking about any pitch for exercising or physical activity. I'm talking about the tone of your voice.
Mm,
Because if you think about people that you like to listen to, you probably like to listen to them because their voice is at a particular tone. It isn't right up here and it isn't very scratchy and very, very high and it doesn't go on like that. Or it doesn't go on mumble, 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 mumble. So the tone of your voice needs to be at a level that people will want to listen to you and they'll want to listen to you for some time. It means that you need to keep it to the lower register of your voice and keep it so that you articulate and enunciate. When I
mm,
teach and train my students, those are 2 words that I use very often: articulation and enunciation. You
mm,
have to speak clearly. If you mumble, 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 and you don't finish off your word or
mm,
your sentence, if you don't speak clearly, finish off the words every time that you say a word. If you don't do that, your audience are going to lose interest. And remember, it's all about them being interested, involved, and engaged. So the tone of your voice is really important and is the first P pitch when you speak, whether or not it's in person or on camera and online. Keep it to the lower register. Keep it so that you articulate and enunciate. You use your lips, you use your tongue, you use your mouth, and you finish every word that you say. So you speak clearly and your audience can understand every word that you say. That's pitch. The second P is pace.
Yeah.
And that is the speed at which you speak. Now, when we get nervous and anxious, we tend to speak very, very quickly, blah, 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 because mostly we want to get the presentation over and done with. And if we don't speak very, very quickly, we speak too slowly because we're trying to think about what we are going to say. The best pace is the pace that I am speaking to you today. And how I achieve that is that I do an exercise every day, 3 times a day, to get me into the pace that I should be speaking. And the exercise is this. Imagine an imaginary menagerie manager managing an imaginary menagerie. So again, imagine an imaginary menagerie manager managing an imaginary menagerie. And you say that 3 times, and that will get you into the pace that you should speak every time you speak. So that's pitch, pace. The third P is pause. And that is a reminder that we need to breathe. Again, when we get anxious and nervous, we tend to forget to breathe. So pause reminds you to breathe. And again, I have a couple of exercises to remind you to how you should be breathing.
Sure.
So the first one is I call 7-11. Not a shop, 7-11, where you breathe in for 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you breathe out for 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So when you breathe in, you inflate a balloon in your stomach so that you're not breathing from up here, from the chest. Because when you breathe from the chest, what happens is that shoulders come up, everything tenses. Yeah, everything is tight. And if you tense and you strain everything, you're not going to get the sound out clearly. So instead, when you breathe, you inflate a balloon in your stomach. So the breath comes from your stomach. So you breathe in, inflating that balloon in your stomach for 7. And then you breathe out, deflating that balloon in your stomach for 11. 7-11. If you don't remember to do that, instead, breathe in through your nose, inflating that balloon in your stomach once, let it out.
I'm doing that.
Great. Breathe in through the nose, inflating that balloon in your stomach, letting it out through your mouth, deflating that balloon in your stomach, and do it again. And on the third breath out, I want you to think of your happy place. And where is your happy place?
In Bhutan.
Okay. Yeah, fantastic. My happy place is where I live, which is right by the sea in the south of France. So when I take that third breath out, I think about my happy place. I want you to think about your happy place. And for our listeners and viewers, think of your happy place on that third breath out. Because when you do that, you're going to smile. You're going to relax. You're going to feel really comfortable and good And that will then translate for your audience that you will make them feel good too.
Yeah,
So,
imaginary.
all part of pause, remembering to breathe. Pause also can be used for effect. If you think that you've lost your audience's attention, if you pause just for a second and then start again, you will get their attention back. So it can be used for effect, but use it sparingly because otherwise it loses its magic and its effect.
I see.
Pause is also a reminder that every conversation and every communication, every presentation that you do and you give is yours. You are in command and in control. So you can take your time. People always think that when they give a presentation that they have to speak all the time. Talk, 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 talk. No. You can take your time. You can pause. It doesn't mean that if you lose your place in your notes, that you can't take a moment to reflect on your notes, look at your notes, refer to them, and then come back to your audience. So pause is a very powerful P. It reminds you to breathe. It reminds you that you are in control and in command and that you can take your time. You don't have to speak all the time. And also, it can be used for effect sparingly. The fourth P is power. I got the power. And you have the power as well. You have the power every time you speak because, as I have said, you are in control and in command. It is your presentation. You have the power. You also have the power in the way that you speak, using your voice, as I mentioned before, for the first P, pitch.
Yeah.
And you have the power in the way that you stand and you sit. I call it the power pose. The power pose when you stand is legs hip width apart, feet firmly on the ground, shoulders back and down, hands by your side. When you are seated, you sit on a chair that has 4 legs on the ground.
Yeah.
Not one of these chairs that has wheels because you're going to move on it.
Yeah.
A chair that has 4 legs on the ground and your feet are firmly on the ground with your legs hip width apart, your hands either on the desk or on your lap. Now, if it is your tendency to use your hands a lot, and you shouldn't use your hands a lot, as I will speak about a little later, if it is your tendency to use them a lot, put them under your legs on the chair.
You love
You are not tempted to use them and you are still going to be powerful. You can see immediately I move in my chair. When I lean back, not as powerful, is it? If I come too far forward, not as powerful, not as effective because I'm really in your face. So you need that power pose as I am, centrally framed, slight gap between the top of your head and the top of the screen, and your feet firmly on the ground, legs hip width apart, and you can show your hands, but not too much. And if it's your tendency to use them too much, you need to put them under your legs so that you are not tempted to use them, or keep them on the desk. And also don't have them clasped in front of the camera too. If you do all of that, you have got the power, and you do have the power. You are powerful, you are confident, you are in control and in command of your communication.
Yeah,
So that's the 4 P's of public speaking.
That is a very inspiring point, Miss Alicia, even though it is really detailed, but we catch each and every point that you're trying to deliver to us. The first one
Thank
is
you.
pitch, the second one is pause,
Pace. Pace.
pace. Yeah, the second one is pace.
Yes.
The next one is
Third one is
pause.
pause. Yes.
Yeah, right. And the final one is power. It means that you show your power by projecting your body language.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Using your voice, using it so that it is expressive, that it is that you give vocal variety, and in your power pose, which
Mm,
will then immediately inspire confidence in
mm,
your audience. And remember, it's all about them and how you want them to feel. And obviously, you want them to feel confident in you. You want them to feel interested in you. And so the way that you do that is if you project power in the way that you use your body, yes, it's going to be very, very effective.
yeah, sure, Miss Alicia. We will be aware of our body language when we speak. I think that it's time for us to share the final message with our viewers tonight. What would be your final message relating to the topic, building your power or your confidence in Zoomland?
Okay, I would just like to highlight some areas to really help you to be effective when you are on camera.
Yeah.
So I've mentioned about you being centrally framed on the screen, slight gap between the top of your head and the top of the screen. I would also like you to engage, engage, engage so that your audience feels involved with you and interested in you. The way that you engage when you are on camera is to look at the camera, not at the screen, at the camera. And that camera should be at eye level or slightly above. If you've got notes, try to have them either behind the camera or on the screen at the same kind of level as the camera so that you can glance at them but come back to the camera as quickly as possible so that you keep engaging.
Yeah.
Try to wear blue, green, purple, or taupe or taupe. Don't wear red, black, or white. Don't wear checks or stripes because they will distort on the screen. So try to wear block colors blue, green, purple, or taupe. Not red, black, or white. They're going to cast shadows. They don't make you look as effective. Red bleeds on the screen. Not
Mm,
checks or stripes. Not, you can wear jewelry, but not so that it becomes a distraction.
mm,
Also, have the light in front of you, not behind you, not coming in from the sides, not on top of you. Try to keep still. Don't sit on a chair that has a high back because you look like something out of a sci-fi movie. And also, chairs that have high backs tend to be on wheels, which means that you're going to move, you're going to swing, you're going to slide. Keep it still. Keep it strong. No distracting mannerisms, because what happens is that you are then looking at my hands and not listening to me. And also have your background clear. Don't use virtual backgrounds. Don't use blurred backgrounds, because what happens with virtual backgrounds and blurred backgrounds is that you tend to blur into them when you move, and we lose part of your head, part of your ear, and we don't want to lose any of you. And most of all, be enthusiastic and upbeat. The camera tends to dull you down. Look at that camera as if you are really fond of the person that you are speaking to. Smile when you can and be enthusiastic. Do something to pep yourself up before you come onto camera so that you are upbeat and your audience feels your energy, and keep up that energy all the way through your presentation. And remember, Every presentation, every communication, it is your opportunity to share wonderful you. And that is 24 karat magic.
Wow, that is really, really inspiring, Miss Alicia. Every presentation is an opportunity to show the unique you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you come to that presentation, and particularly when you are online and on camera, by
Mm,
engaging, by looking at that camera and
mm.
making sure that your audience feels warmly disposed to you and engaged with you and interested in you. Because, yes, it is your opportunity to share unique, wonderful you.
Yeah. Miss Alicia, thank you so much for joining us tonight and sharing with us useful techniques related to building confidence and power online. And hello everyone, thank you so much for watching EIY education session and we hope to see you again next week. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you so much. Bye.
Yeah, bye Miss Alicia.